Hey everybody, Chad HD here. Don't forget to subscribe to KFYO on YouTube right below. Do that. Follow me on Twitter, Chad HD Radio, and don't forget to tune in to the Chad HD Show this morning, 8:30 to 11, weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 on News Talk 790 KFYO in Lubbock, or online at KFYO.com. A lot to get into on an open line edition. We'll take a look back on what happened in the Thursday night Republican debate. We'll also take a look ahead at what the RNC plan is to stop Donald Trump. That's what it's all about. Mitt Romney laid that out in Utah on Thursday in a speech that went, well, basically the way I thought it would go, condemning Donald Trump, saying that Donald Trump is the worst person that he's ever known, that Donald Trump is a bad businessman, and that Donald Trump would make a horrible, horrible president. Of course, Mitt Romney didn't really hold these beliefs when he asked for Donald Trump's endorsement back in 2012, when he said that Donald Trump was a great businessman and knew the economy really, really well and would do really good things with the economy. Well, times have changed. Now Mitt Romney thinks that Donald Trump is a horrible, horrible person and will do horrible, horrible things here in the United States. And so he's got to set out to stop Donald Trump. Well, it's really the Republican establishment that has set out to stop Donald Trump. A lot has been kicked around, different ideas on how to stop Donald Trump. First, the idea was everybody drop out except for Marco Rubio, and it'll be Rubio versus Trump. That hasn't worked out too well, and really it looks like the Republican establishment has lost faith in Marco Rubio. They had faith in Jeb Bush, lost that, had faith in Marco Rubio, they've lost that. Mitt Romney laid out exactly what the plan was. It's an idea that I've heard that's been kicked around for a while now, and that is this. If you're in the race as of today, except for Sleepy Ben Carson, if you're in the race as of today, John Kasich, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, congratulations. You need to stay in the race the entire time, according to the Republican establishment. Why? Because they want to take this to a brokered convention. There are a lot of bad ideas when it comes to a brokered convention, and a lot of ways that this idea from the RNC could go in a very bad direction, but I'll give you just one, and here's it is. Let's say John Kasich stays in, he wins Ohio. Let's say that Marco Rubio stays in and he wins Florida. Now, remember, both Marco Rubio and John Kasich are both in about second place in their respective states to Donald Trump. Donald Trump leading big in Florida, Donald Trump leading big in Ohio. But let's just say they go on to win. John Kasich, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz are not going to win every single state from here on out. It's just not going to happen. Donald Trump's going to win quite a few, probably a majority, of the states from here on out. Even if the RNC plan goes perfectly to plan, you're going to still have Donald Trump winning a lot of these states. So let's say Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, they all go into the convention. It's a brokered or contested convention. Donald Trump still in the lead, still has the most delegates, still has the most popular vote as well. Well, then what do you do if you're the RNC? Do you really hand it off the nomination to Marco Rubio or to Jeb Bush or to John Kasich or to Rick Perry or Mitt Romney? Really? That's your plan? That's what you're going to do? What about all the Trump supporters? Look, whether you like Trump or not, and as I've said before, I'm not on the Trump train just yet. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, he's got a lot of supporters, a lot of very faithful supporters, people who will go with Trump through fire if they have to. They're not going to just abandon Trump and go over to Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz or any of these guys. They want to see this thing won the right way, whether that be through Donald Trump, whether that be through Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, whoever. They want to see things done the right way. I think you're going to have a big problem on your hands if you're the Republican National Committee. If you go to a brokered convention and Donald Trump is just a couple hundred delegates away or a few hundred delegates away from really claiming the nomination, and you give it to somebody else, I think you're going to have a big problem on your hands. You're going to see a revolt in the Republican Party. You may see that no matter what, but you're really going to see it if you just hand the nomination off to someone else who really hasn't earned it. So that's something that Republicans really need to worry about with this master plan that they have. It also shows just how desperate the RNC is and the establishment is to stop Donald Trump. Their plan is basically to blow up the Republican Party, because I think that's what could possibly happen if we go to a brokered or contested convention later on. I just don't see how this works out well for the Republicans. You may get a better nominee out of this. You may get a more conservative nominee, but that doesn't mean you're not going to blow up the party while doing it. So a lot of caution here, I think, needs to be used from the establishment. The establishment very worried about Donald Trump, and as a conservative, I think people should be weary of Donald Trump. I really do. I don't trust Donald Trump when it comes to many issues out there. I'm still listening and still waiting to be convinced from Donald Trump. I'm not in the camp yet of saying that I'm never going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm not there. But I do want to hear what Donald Trump's plans are when it comes to the Supreme Court. I want to be convinced, just like I'm convinced with Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, that they would put up conservative justices, those who would go by the Constitution. I want to hear the same thing from Donald Trump. And not only do I want to hear it, I want to be convinced of it. Because I've heard a lot of stuff from Donald Trump. I just haven't been convinced by Donald Trump just yet. But this idea of taking it to a brokered convention and a Mitt Romney or a Jeb Bush or a Rick Perry or, well, name your candidate here, that's going to spring up out of nowhere and unite the party, folks, that's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen, okay? Most likely, Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. Most likely, that's what's going to happen. And if the RNC steals it away from Donald Trump, well, all hell could break loose. I'm Chad Hasty. Hope you have a great day out there. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 on News Talk 790 KFYO and streaming online at KFYO.com. And don't forget, follow me on Twitter, Chad Hasty Radio. Have a great weekend. Talk to you on the radio.